I'm getting into sativa now because, you know, we have to do stuff day to day. But I really am an indica person. I like to be mellow. I like to
Yeah.
vibe. What are you, or what are you
I'm indica. Yeah, I used to smoke sativa with like a lot of working and stuff, and then yeah, I just like my anxiety kind of started to. I've always struggled with anxiety, and that kind of started to get worse. So I had to switch to just straight indica, and that helps a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly why I use indica, because I'm like up there,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like
We're already there.
I'm like, I need to
To
get
come
brought down.
down.
That's exactly how I explain. I'm like, I need to get brought down. I can't do coffee that crashes me out. I can't do any of that stuff.
It makes sure
Agreed.
proof.
So how was y'all Pride Month? I mean, Pride is all year, like I said, but how was you guys Pride Month? How did you celebrate it?
It was good. I ended up going to New York City for Pride weekend. And so that was my first time going to New York City Pride. And so I was really excited. I went with my cousin and it was great. Like, you know, being from South Florida and going to Prides here is great and it's amazing, but to experience it somewhere else where it's like, it's way more people in New York City Pride.
Yeah.
And to just feel like community and just pride and openness and just people out there living their best lives. It was great. I really enjoyed myself.
Did you go to any parties, like dick appointment or anything?
No, so I ended up going there also to see families. So between like seeing family, friends, and all the other stuff, like I was like, well, I can't go to any of the outside events, but I wanted to make sure I went to the march and the festival. So I was just happy to even go there.
Bella, what did you do?
I didn't do much. I worked mainly. I got out of a relationship, so now I'm open. So I guess you could say my
The
friend
DMs is open. Let's go.
the DMs is open. I love your nails, by the way. They're so cool. Let me see them.
Thank you. I just did them the other day.
Wow, so cool.
Thank you.
How did you celebrate your Pride?
Well, actually, I got sick during LA Pride, which was really sad. But I did turn up with the boys last weekend. It was Black Pride, so I still got like a second turn to it. You know, got to turn up, get drunk, you know, all that good stuff. So, but like, I'm always with my gay friends, so I feel like I'm always celebrating.
Yeah, you're always right.
Like, let's go. I don't want to wait just 1 month. Like, let's turn up everywhere.
Oh, your picture from the weekend, and I was like, you're living your best life. You were living your best life. I was like, okay, I need to go to LA and party with them.
Yes, come to LA. I mean, New York is great. If you guys are in New York, I don't know how it is in Florida. I've been to Miami. That's it. I really don't know anything about Florida.
Come through. I mean, so we in Miami they do Pride in April usually. So it's usually the first or second weekend of April that they have Miami Beach Pride. And then for Broward, they have different prides throughout the year. So there's actually a pride coming up in August, like towards the end of August. They're doing a Caribbean LGBT pride. So yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. And then they also have Stonewall Pride that happens in June. So there's different pride events that happens throughout the year.
Sounds fun as fuck.
Yeah. I know I'm like,
also, did anybody see the Burger King, the one where they do the two tops and the two bottoms? Like, what do we think about that?
That was real. I saw the stuff on Twitter, but I thought that was fake.
It was real.
It was real. I seen it like as an ad.
Oh, what do we think? What's our general consensus?
I was like, I mean, I guess that's a way to spin the marketing of trying to be an ally. Like, you know, we're not bottom shaming or up shaming, you know, for everyone be together. I don't know what they were really trying to do with it, but
they're definitely trying to make some money. That's for sure. I didn't know how I felt about it either. Like, half of me was like, actually, this is really cute, and the other half of me was like,
so many brands do it now. Like, I watch the clockwork of brands changing their logo to rainbow. Like,
But
it's
you're like, but you
soon.
only do it for a month. It don't make
It's like
sense when you
June
only do it
1st.
for a month. Don't seem like much of an ally.
It's like June 1st. I just like, over the years, I just calculate and hit people up like, oh, so I see that you changed and you support. So what are you doing for the community exactly? Because I don't see anything on your timeline doing anything.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. So, well, since I'm smoking forbidden flowers, let's get into it. The owner of it, how do you come about forbidden flowers, and like, how do you see it being Sage? Quiet. How do you see it working with the LGBTQ community and like helping it with the cannabis community and like the integration?
Well, that's also why I wanted to work with you guys as well, and have this conversation, because, there's always a lane to open it up, and it's just, how do you do it? When do you do it? And, what does it look and sound like? Which I think is really important, to Forbidden. Recently, we've been focusing a lot on cannabis clemency, and we've taken like a real drive towards that. And I came across, I had met with a few different weed companies. I've been smoking for a while. I met with Glass House, and they were just the most lovely, actually care about the state that the world is in. They're one of the only brands that actually fight for cannabis clemency and are actually trying to do something about it, writing letters to Biden, working with the Weldon Project, and that's just so cool. Like, it's crazy to me to really think that no other weed brands or companies are actually trying to make a difference or do anything in that spectrum. So I really liked them because of that. And their flower is amazing. They know how to produce really great, healthy flower. That's not going to fuck you up. And then I created Forbidden Flowers, and I knew that a lot of the weed game had, was predominantly male owned. And even though we know that there's a lot of girl stoners and people in general, it's just much more of a male dominated industry. And it's like kind of frowned upon more for females to smoke weed than it is for a male. And I always thought that never made sense to me. I was like, what? How can this not be equal? And so then I also wanted to take the whole glitter route. How do we show who I am through our containers and our bottles, and what the brand actually, is and looks like that was a really important thing for me, and to come into the game and also change the game, to say that female brands can be here, and that we are here to stay, and yeah. So then I created Forbidden. But let's talk about the Freedom Fund. I know quite a little bit, but I think that our audience might not. So if we want to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, happy to. Again, thank you so much for having us being a part of this live and have an opportunity to talk about our organization. I think oftentimes when we get asked about our work, people are trying to figure out like, well, what do you do? Why do you do this? And so any opportunity for us to be able to talk about our work is really important. So thank you both, really. So a little bit about our organization. So we're the Freedom Fund Network, which is also known as the LGBTQ Freedom Fund. And we are a nonprofit organization that secures the safety and liberty of people in jail and immigration detention. And so what that looks like day to day is that we post bond for low-income LGBTQ folks who are detained in pretrial detention in the state of Florida. So anywhere in the state of Florida, from as north as Tallahassee, Jacksonville, to as south as the Keys, we post bond for low-income LGBTQ folks to get out of those facilities simply because they couldn't afford to pay these bonds. And then for immigration detention, we post in over 20 states to get people out of immigration detention facilities and get them reconnected to family, resources, their community.
That's amazing. Shout out to y'all. Y'all are saving lives. Y'all is
Right. We're trying to. It's I think we started in 2017, and we started providing support to people in 2018. And just over the last few years of being a part of this organization, to see the impact that our organization makes on getting folks out of these cages and then getting reconnected to their families and connecting them to resources has been amazing. But it's also been interesting to see, like, as administration changes, right? Like as policy changes, how that impacts our work also. So to be able to get the support that we've gotten over the last 2 years in particular has been amazing. It's been awesome.
Well, how can people continue to help you guys, like, keep everyone safe and get them out?
Yeah, so I would say that in regards to pretrial detention, we only focus on the state of Florida, but there are organizations and other community bail funds that do work across the country. So we're not the only community bail fund that exists out there. If you want to know what's happening in your local city or state, and if there's a community bail fund there, you can check out Community Justice Exchange, and it's communityjusticeexchange.org, and you'll be able to find a community bail fund in your community and seeing how they can provide support to you. But then I will also say check our own website. You can check out our website, which is lgbtqfund.org. At our website, know what's happening in regards to how LGBT is disproportionately impacted by incarceration and immigration detention. And you can always donate to us. Give us some money. Like,
yeah.
That's the point. That's the point.
Right.
I'm sitting here typing it in right now. LGBTQfreedomfund.org.
Right? No. But yeah, like I think for our work, in order for us to continue doing our work, we need people to support our work, and to support our work, we have to give to our organization. I think that's important. If you can donate, that's great. On average, when we're talking about bonds in the state of Florida, so looking at like Broward County, which, Bella, I hear you're from Broward County.
Yeah.
What part of Broward County?
Pembroke Pines.
Oh my God, we are like practically neighbors.
Yeah.
I lived in Hollywood for 4 years. So, and I just moved back down to Miami. So we're practically neighbors. Like, we're right next to each other. So in Broward County, where the Freedom Fund is, our operations is based in, where we started doing our work, we found that we were seeing people in jail for as little as $25. And $25, $50, $100 may not sound like a lot to you and me, but it makes a world of difference in regards to a person, a trans-identified person who is incarcerated simply for being homeless, or a person who, stole, from like a Publix, food because they didn't have anything else to feed themselves, and it is going to cost them $100 to get out of jail. That may not seem like a lot to you and me, but when we're talking about people who are disproportionately impacted by different things in society, we're making a world of difference in regards to getting those folks out. But then
I've heard the law for like cannabis in Florida especially is like super, super like harsh. Like for just a little bit, they'll lock you up.
So I don't know what all the laws are in regards to like cannabis in the state of Florida, but I know like it's not legal in regards to like recreation. It's definitely things like that you need to be mindful of. But not just only here in the state of Florida, across the country, we see that people are still being incarcerated, even though in many places it's legal, right? People like Bella mentioned, there are still people who are incarcerated, even though, like, for example, in New York, where, it's legal for it to smoke marijuana recreationally, people are still in jail for selling marijuana, right? There are billion-dollar companies who are benefiting from many people are being placed into cages for. And so I think, when we're talking about like laws and how it disproportionately impacts people, we need to be very mindful of that, and how many folks, even though in many places it's legal, whether that's recreational, medical, or both, people are still in these cages. And when we're talking about LGBTQ folks, we're talking about people who oftentimes face higher levels of harassment, and just really being discriminated in a system that it's really hard to get out of.
Yeah, when I was reading those statistics, I was like, oh God, this is, oof, fuck me, Jesus.
Yeah.
It's just not, those numbers are not pretty. And it just, like you were saying as well, when it comes to things that are basic human needs, like somebody has to eat and they have to steal food to get it, but then they have to pay this $100 fine for money that they didn't have in the first place. That's why they were stealing it. And it's just our system is it's just so fucked. Our government, we are your people, and look at what you're doing to us, and not helping people get the right rehab and on their feet and the right things. Instead, just throw them in a cage, and then you expect the world to be better with that.
Exactly. And what's I remember when a little before I started doing this work, the work I was doing before was providing case management to people living with HIV. And so, we will be working with people, getting them resources, getting them back into care. And out of nowhere, they would just disappear. They would just disappear for like months. So they would show up again at the center that I worked at. And I'll ask them, well, what happened to you? Like, what happened? What's going on? And they would say, oh, I got arrested, for being homeless, or I got arrested because I slept on a park bench. I mean, it was just like really ridiculous things that people are getting arrested for, not just here in Florida, but across the country. And unfortunately for LGBTQ people, have a higher chance. We're 3 times as likely to get incarcerated compared to, other folks. And so when it comes to incarceration, we're talking about an issue that impacts us. And, we just came from Pride Month, where Pride Month has been a protest around the issues that impacted LGBTQ folks. And so for me, I take this fight personally because I am a person who's queer. I am a person who is Black. I am a person who is from a Caribbean background. So when it comes to incarceration, whether that's incarceration in jails or incarceration in immigration detention, I take those things personally because I think so many people in my family have been impacted by it, right? And when I'm talking about like my identities and identities of my friends and people who I care about, it fuels me to continue going because I see this as an everyday thing. It's not something that I think for me and for people who are part of our organization, it's not something that we're separated from. It's something that for many of us, we have to either deal with day by day or we live day by day. We live and breathe this work.
Yeah, it's not something you can just turn a blind eye to when you're living it. 100% agreed. Well, that's also why you're just the most perfect person to run this nonprofit, because it's in your heart, it's in your soul, and that's just, it's so fucked up, but it's just so beautiful that you're taking it and actually trying to really do something better and really helping people, not even just trying, but actually doing it. Not a lot of people can say that.
Yeah. I'm in love with everything. Like, as soon as I read about the fund, I was like, and saw like you behind it, I was like, this, like, I feel the message. Like, I feel your dedication to it, especially as like a person like Black and non-binary and stuff like that. Like, I have seen mental illness and like gone through it, and it's truly a struggle. And it's either you can end up homeless or in jail or dead, sadly. So it's like, it's one of those things, and we need all the support from every angle to help us like keep going on, because it's not easy.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy. Like, in this country, more people have a history of incarceration than people who have college degrees. If that's not an issue, this is for the people on live, but if that's not an issue to y'all, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, the U.S. incarcerates more people compared to any other country in the world. That says a lot. That speaks volumes. And then when we're also talking about like LGBTQ folks, we're talking about a group of people who we already are discriminated against. There's so many laws. I mean, look at the laws that's been going on lately. Like, don't say gay, this anti-trans bill that's been happening. There's a lot of laws that's being put into place to restrict people's freedoms and not, have people get the access to just even the basic human needs, right? And so if people are not being able to get access to these basic human needs like LGBTQ folks, then what else can we do, right? Like what else and what other resources can we find? I think that's why it's really important that, as one thing I would say, like, how can you support our work, is definitely educate yourself. Like, on our website, we have so many things online that talks about like incarceration, and it links to different think tanks and organizations that have collected and done research about this work, such as the Brennan Center and the Williams Institute, who has specifically done work around incarceration and how it impacts people across the country. And so, one, definitely educate yourself, but then two, look at ways of how you can support our organization, how you can support other community bail funds across the country, because it may not make a difference to you, but it may make a world of difference to someone who can afford to pay $50.
Mm-hmm. Well, y'all see the link. It's right there, lgbtqfund.org. Get into it, educate yourself, donate, buy somebody some lunch, coffee, something that you're going to spend on something else. Go ahead and give it to somebody who actually really, really, really needs it, especially in the times that we have right now. Like, come on, we all can use the help. So we're going to wrap it up. And we're going to get into, Bella, do you have anything that you would like to promote right now, or let the people know, like, what is on your heart, what is important to you, what you got coming for with Forbidden?
I mean, this right here, this is the most important thing we could be talking about. And, I think that as far as what you said, as far as how people really can help, if you don't have money to donate, doing your research, spreading the word, tweeting as much as you can, being out about it, talking about it, educating other people on the new information you've learned is like half of the battle. Just education and really just drawing attention to it. For me, that I have a bunch of work stuff, but not as important. Also, is that a pink cat tree in the back of you? Yes, so cute.
I'm like, there's a cat sitting in front of me. She's just waiting to talk. Like,
let her speak.
Yeah. Oh, she's talking now. She said, what? Say less. You got up to everything. It's so crazy. I was allergic to cats growing up, and then now it's like I started thinking I was a cat at one point, and living in New York, you're just surrounded by cats. So I was like, I think I was a black cat in my past life, and now I'm just like, cats are cool with me now, and like,
you're not allergic.
And I'm not allergic. I don't know what happened.
That's awesome.
Just believe in magic. Is there anything else you would like to share, Tremaine, that you would love for people to get into, whether with your fund or with anything else?
Sure. So I'll just reiterate what I said before. Check out our website, lgbtqfund.org, and you can check on our website, get information about our organization, see the stats in regards to incarceration, especially how incarceration impacts LGBTQ people, and donate. Give us some money if you can. Share with the who you think can provide support to our organization. If we're talking about supporting LGBTQ folks and people of marginalized communities, we also need to be looking at ways of how do we support these groups, these people, as they're navigating, our political place where we're at right now, right? And so definitely check out our website. If you also want to know what we're doing on social media, you can check out our social media. On IG, we're LGBTQ Freedom Fund. On Facebook, we're LGBTQ Freedom Fund or the Freedom Fund. And then on Twitter, we are, if you just search LGBTQ Freedom Fund, we'll pop right up. And that's it for me. And if you know, just one more thing. So if you know someone who is incarcerated in the state of Florida and identifies as LGBTQ, you can always reach out to me. My email is Tremaine, TREMAINE at lgbtqfund.org. And if you also go on our website, you can, there's our contact info there. Or if you know someone who is incarcerated in immigration detention, and regardless if they're in the state of Florida or not, and a person needs support and they have an LGBTQ identity, feel free to reach out to me. If I can't provide support to you or my organization can't provide support to you, then maybe we can link you over to an organization that can, or a community bail fund that can. Don't feel like you have to navigate this alone. There are resources and there are people there to support you regardless.
Yes.
So beautifully said.
Period.
I'll be also putting the link in my bio, and so you guys can also find it there.
Awesome.
So no excuses. No excuses.
That's right.
All I hear. You ain't got no excuses. You can click it. You got time. Well, I'll let you guys go. I'm so happy to have spent my time talking and smoking with you guys this afternoon. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend.
Yeah.
Ditto.
I'll too.
Great talks.
And I'll be reaching out to you, Tiara, in regards to Pride in LA, because I'll be over there soon. I'll be over there in a few months. So whatever's happening.
Link up. Let's go.
All right, you two. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Well, thank you guys for joining our live and being with us. Make sure you check out forbiddenflowers.com and get you some flowers, because this thing is hitting. I ain't even finished it yet. Got diamonds in it. Bye. And follow me, Tiara Kelly, TRR Kelly.